So, welcome to this conversation with Lighthouse, where we bridge the gap between theory and practice in the business world. My name is Anja, and today I'm joined by my co-founders, Tania and Jo, to address the topic that we all know that it's important, but sometimes just don't know how to put it actually in the practice. And each of us has actually quite a lot of experience in human resources world and has encountered it multiple times. And this topic is the topic of employee development, and more specifically, development plans. So Tania and Jo, let me just give you an opportunity to say hello to everyone who will be following us and share a sentence about you. Maybe Tania, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So hi, I'm Tania. I'm a personal and organizational consultant and certified coach. I'm focused on fast pace and multicultural environments. And that's in a nutshell about me. What about you, Jo?
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna, and I work since 6 years in the area of talent development and organizational development as well.
Perfect. And just for everyone who does not know me, my name is Anja. I am working in human resources development for the past 8 years, and I'm really bridging together the topic of psychology and on the other side of the work, may it be as RTT therapist or as HR professional. So if you are a founder, if you're HR professional, or if you're simply leading a team of people, coordinating them, it's important for you that you think about the topic of development plans, because it's more than just a topic. It's actually the way how to create that win-win between the organization and between the employees as well. So we will dig deeper today with you to offer you some ideas and share with you how we think about the topic and hopefully inspire you to do some of the changes or even work better in your organization. So we will discuss how development plans and development philosophies actually shape careers, enhance workplaces, and specifically how to do that in people-centric environments. And at the end of this conversation, we will also share with you how you can get the access to Lighthouse Development Plan, where you can access it for free and then also hopefully use it for yourself or for your organization. So let's start with the first question. Why is it actually important to even focus on development in your workplace? Why should we as HR professional, founders, leaders care about the topic?
So I could start by saying that it's not only about at work, right? So personal development, whenever you're developed, you name it at work, it can also be at a personal level, right? So we all want to be the best version of ourselves, I believe. And by really paying attention to it and focusing on it, it will enable us to be more intentional about the actions and behaviors that we have to achieve that what we are looking for, that what will make us happy or it will enrich our lives as well. And by that, also jointly with the team, with the organization, achieve their goals in a nutshell for me.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think though, especially in the working environment, it's more important now than ever to really have the learning due to the pace basically of the world we are living in currently, right? So we are really witnessing how multiple skills are relevant to our working place and how fast they're really changing, right? So we need to be really somehow agile, got it, to really make sure that we are kind of like, keeping up to date with whatever we do. So we are well informed and we can react quick to whatever is needed, whatever change is exactly now reaching us, right?
Yeah, I would agree very much with that, because I feel that currently we are really shifting more and more to the topic of transferable skills as well, right? So before, I feel that in the workplace, it was really the focus on specific skills, and now transferable skills are coming in. Also, going back to what Tania, you shared before, it's not just about work, it's actually like really how we can use the skills that we have in general in life or the skills that we are having at work and use them together. How can we bring all of that together and enable people to live their best life also when they are at work? but also outside of work, because sometimes I feel that also the borders between what is work and what is private life are actually getting blurry, especially maybe with the knowledge workers, maybe a little bit less with factory workers. But I think the changes are happening there as well. I think it's interesting to see the development of the workplace itself as well, because we are seeing more and more those skills from private life. For example, a mother, that is managing the tantrum of maybe her 3-year-old. This is actually a skill that can be brought into the workplace very much. But you are both mothers, actually, so maybe you can even share more. Where do you see this skill overlap?
Yeah, this highly resonates with me because, I was used to working, with teams, team members, and learning and supporting leaders, right? So how to become better leaders. And now that I'm a mom and I have a 2-year-old daughter, it's so much, like you bring so much of those skills, like be curious. Don't just come up with your way of doing things. Be curious, right? Ask for options, right? What do they want? What do they need? It might not be really what you want them to do. They could be creative. They are creative. We are all creative human beings, right? And I would like to see this parallelism, right, with the workspace.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sometimes it feels maybe that we are having a bit of a disconnect, right? And we feel that we cannot really use what we know in the workplace or vice versa. However, I think exactly these transferable skills are bringing the awareness to that. But I feel that we do need more people that can help people realize where those skills are. Because sometimes I feel, for myself at least, it's really difficult to recognize your own skills. So it's very nice to have someone else on the other side that can help you digest all of that, or just give you the idea of how to think about your skills that you're having in slightly different way. And I feel that this really bridge back into this win-win, right? So development makes sense for organizations because by employees developing, this is actually helping the organization. But also the employees are benefiting from that, because if they can use those specific skills that are not faced only or focused only on knowledge, but they are actually focused really on skills, on competencies, they can use that in different workplaces as well. They can use it in their private life. They can use it in conversations with their friends. I feel, for example, communication is one of those skills, right? Where if you are improving in one part, you are improving actually in all of those. And this maybe brings us to the next question that I have for you as well. What do you feel are currently the common challenges or roadblocks that you see?
I've seen a lot of challenges around communication, as you mentioned it, right? So now many companies have switched to home office, which makes communication not as fluid as it was before. So yeah, we have perhaps Discord or Slack or other communication tools that help us communicate with others whenever we want, but it's not the same as just turning around and talking to your peer, right? And also we spend less time together, which means that we are still connected at some point, but our brains might not be as connected as they were before, because we perhaps didn't have coffee together, we didn't have lunch together, we were not sharing openly or using more time to talk about our personal experiences. So this might disconnect us a little bit. It goes a lot around assumptions and not being very clear with our expectations, with our own needs, perhaps because we also don't know what we really want, right? What we really need from others. So that's something that I've observed over the last months, let's say.
I think.
What about you?
So I think it's also about the social aspect of learning and development, right? It's not just learning on your own, but it's actually the dynamic, right? How do you realize actually that you learned something? I think I heard in the past that you only learn something like truly when you can explain it to someone else. And if we are not having that connection, are we truly learning, or are we simply absorbing the information and not really applying it? Jo, what about you? What would you say that is the biggest challenge right now regarding development, regarding the topic of development plans, or in general learning?
Yeah, I think maybe really like currently we have so many content basically attacking us from all of the sides, right? I mean, we are living, like I mentioned in the beginning, like in a very fast-paced world, right? And we have so many options. There are so many e-learning platforms. We have artificial intelligence now telling us, yeah, if you want to develop this skill, go ahead and I don't know, do this course or whatever. Yeah, and I think the kind of content curation is also a big topic, right? So that by the end of the day, you know, okay, you use your learning time, which is anyhow very limited currently due to the entire workload we are still dealing with, and we have to basically be effective, right? Yeah, we need to really ensure that we are spending our time learning things that are true and that are really bringing the value, right? So I would definitely say we need to watch out and really curate the content. Is this really worth now me watching this being, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour. But of course, yeah, I want to use my time as efficient and as valuable as possible. So I would say this is definitely one of the challenges currently when it comes to development.
I very much like this, because I think there's a big difference between knowledge-based and between really skills or competency-based, right? In the past, it was very easy. It was very difficult to get the knowledge. So just getting the information was actually something what was valued. Today, it's not anymore about accessibility of information, because you're having it everywhere. So curation that you were mentioning, it's actually becoming more and more important, because the question is, whom do you trust with the information? Because you cannot consume all of the information that is out there. You cannot always check and double check and triple check if this is actually aligned with what you believe the right way to consume the information. So I think this is also where the influencers or informal influencers, maybe friends that you have with tons of information, come in, because if you trust that person already, then you know that the information coming from them, it's actually true. When I was actually thinking about this question and what for me would be the biggest challenge is actually the difference between development, learning, and training. Because when I think about, we are talking about development, right? But I feel very often companies jump into, okay, let's offer a training platform, and then it's end of, conversation about development. But I feel that there are different types of learning, as we discussed before as well, right? A little bit. There are people that simply learn maybe through doing, and we also want to maybe use or utilize the mentors, or maybe some career coaches, or other systems in place that we have, except for e-learning, which is the easiest. And I feel that sometimes we are so focused on learning or training that we forget, okay, we are actually talking about overall development, and sometimes simply a challenging project or a mentor that can guide you in doing things differently in the job that you are already doing the task that you are already doing, are still considered a development, and it is the improvement of your skills as well. I'm not sure if you are noticing this in the organizations as well.
Yeah, there is also micro learning, right? So sometimes we learn stuff without even realizing, oh, I have learned today something, because I don't know, we need to Google something, or this being a term or whatever. Yeah, exactly, new way how to do things. So things that we can easily apply at work, but also, in the earlier mentioned private life, we learn almost all the time. Yeah, but what we have in our heads is like development or learning is something, it must be big. It must be like, I need to spend 1 hour, I don't know, per week, really like feeling I have learned something. Yeah. Sometimes maybe we miss the small bites of, new learnings and new knowledge we gain.
And this actually leads us perfectly sorry, Tania, but this leads us perfectly into the next question, which is how can we actually ensure that development does not become just that checklist or just that tick box that we tick off and that's it?
So here I would say be intentional, right? Make sure that you really know what you want to learn and why you want to learn it. Why is it important to you, right? And once you have identified that, because it might be just one piece, you might not need to take a whole course to learn what you actually want to learn, right? So perhaps a friend, YouTube video, a book can help you out, right? Also identify with self-awareness what type of learner you are. Are you more like this visual learner? Are you more the one who likes to collect different information from different sources? Are you more like a relational learner, right? The one that, okay, you want to others teach you directly, like friends, because we're all individuals. And I think that it's very difficult to put it on the company to provide you with all the options, because perhaps some small companies may not have all the resources to give very individualized training opportunities. But you can also do some inner work and identify, okay, so I've observed that I'm this type of learner. This really brings me a lot of joy. With others, I lose a lot of like focus and it's harder to learn, right? Not because at school they treated us all in the same way where they were, okay, there's a teacher and we all have to learn this way. Now it's in your hands and you can make that decision for yourself.
And also the organizations can help with that, right? Sometimes it's just helping people to understand what the framework is, that it's not just about the company providing this development or training, but it can be as easy as having a career counselor in the organization or having mentors, if that's something what is applicable in your industry or in your organization. There are so many different ways how the same thing can be done. I was really impressed with one of the organizations who literally just decided one person in HR will be the person that will be designated, that people can come to that person and have the conversation about their career. So almost like you would see it in schools, right? When it's career counseling day. They did it in the organization, and it was a small thing for the organization to actually dedicate that person, but it meant a lot to the employees that were able at least to have one reflection partner. Sometimes this can be a boss, sometimes this will be a friend that you have at work, and sometimes it will be maybe a mentor or a career counselor.
Mm-hmm. And I think also what organization can really do to support this ideally self-driven learning, right, is ensuring that there is basically space for everyone in the company to have this time, So to give your employees really the feeling, okay, learning is as beneficial and as important as doing your proper job, because without learning, like we basically also stay kind of like on the spot, and we are not able to bring this innovation, right, to the way we work and how we approach things. So I think it's definitely part of the culture, that you recognize this time and you really lead by example. For example, for leads, it's so important that you also take time for you to learn, and you kind of like spread this vibe also to your teams. Making sure that there is time for learning.
I think time is.
And something to add there, Jo. Just something to add there, because I really like that train of thought that you had. Is in order for them also to make some time for this learning. Make them excited about this, right? Talk about exciting projects and don't just give them the answers to everything. Don't tell them how they need to do things, right? Discuss together what is really the goal, why it is important, what do we still need to learn as a team, right? As an individual. Then make it exciting and give them, as you mentioned, the time, the space for it. And then don't just give them the time, but then also regroup and check in. Hey, what did you find out? I found out this, and you, right? So also promote that exchange, and then by doing this, and people then become more urged. They are encouraged to continue learning because they have something exciting to share with others as well.
I love this idea with time, because sometimes it can be just 2 hours a week, right? Or an hour a week that it's communicated in the organization and saying we will spend 1 hour individually learning in different ways, and then we regroup, we come together, we spend another hour just discussing what was the outcome, and then we are already having that social exchange. Absolutely, there are so many small things and so many big things that we can do as organizations as well as individuals. So my last question actually today for us is focused more on the plan that we prepared from Lighthouse perspective, because we tried actually to bring a lot of different ideas that we talked about today together. And in the development plan, we are actually proposing that the employees and let's say a manager or a mentor or someone else actually have a conversation regarding gaps that are existing, regarding the opportunities that are available in the organization, and then also identifying the skill, will, and heal. In the template that you are able to download for free, you are actually able to see also the filled out form so that you can imagine a little bit better, be a little bit more guided what each of those means. But right now, for me, the question to you, Tania and Jo, is what is that one thing that you feel that in this model really works and that people can take the value out of?
For me, it is this collaboration, this partnership. So because it's not only on the employee or not only on the leader side, of deciding what you have to learn, but it's more discussing, okay, as you mentioned, what is a gap? What do we want to learn? What are we still missing? Let's say in the hot topic, right? Artificial intelligence, where that is everywhere, right? So is this going to help us? How can this help us? How are we going to know if this is going to help us? Where are we at, right? And then align on what is it that you really want to learn about it, right? And then discuss the how, right? And also like checking in again, okay, does it make sense? Or reevaluate, not because you put it in a plan means that it's being set in stone. So be agile as well there by readjusting where it's needed.
Absolutely. This anticipation as well, right? For me, that's actually the biggest value that I see, because very often when we talk about development, we talk simply about, okay, this is what I'm trying to do, or this is what my goal is. And that's already a great first step that definitely needs to be clarified with the gap, with the opportunity, with the skills that you're having. But I think extremely important is at that point in time also to stop and say, wait, what will actually motivate me to get going, or where will I get the discipline from to actually stick with it also when the hill comes? So when we need to start going up, and we are maybe a little bit desperate, because if we know that the challenges are coming, if we can anticipate them, not overthink them, but just anticipate them, then when we face them, it's also easier to stop in that moment and say, wait, what do I actually need? Do I need to adjust what we planned? Do I need to push through? Do I need to maybe, do something different because maybe we did not consider that this skill is needed and I don't have it yet, so I need to first focus there. So really the agility that both of you spoke already today of, I think that's something what this plan definitely can at least bring the people that are working on it thinking about it. Good. So I think we got quite a lot of valuable conversations in here. We are happy to hear the comments and to improve on the topic or dig deeper on some aspects of the topics that we discussed today. So from my side, I would say to wrap up today's discussion, I would really say or remind you that a journey of employee development is continuous and it's always evolving. And those ideas from our conversations can be the starting point in creating better employee-centric workplace. But we are, of course, always curious, always learning, always developing to find new ways how to do things. And we hope that's true for all of you listening into this conversation. So just as a closing thought, Tania, Jo, any words from your side?
Just continue learning, I would say. We are evolving. The environment, the society around us is also continuously changing. And in order to continue up to date, then there's nothing else than to continue learning and being humble about it as well.
+1.
Perfect. Then till next time. Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Bye.